Hey wrestling fans, so Summerslam was last night and I want to give you my honest thoughts, my opinions, and I will give you my rating out of 10 at the end. So let's get into it. So first we started with Logan Paul versus Ricochet, which I have said this before and I'll say it again. I think that this rivalry has made Ricochet interesting. Now I love Ricochet, but he hasn't really been doing all that much that's captured my attention as of late. So I think this has been fantastic for him. I think also it was a great way to start off SummerSlam because they are such fast-paced, high-flying type of pro wrestlers. So I thought that was a great choice. The match overall for me was fantastic. I loved this match. I have been waiting for this since the Royal Rumble spot that they had in the middle of the ring. I've wanted to see them kind of go at it just one-on-one. So I loved this. It's exactly what I expected. I really like that Logan Paul cheated, and I know a lot of people are going to be against that. I think this is just going to push Ricochet higher into that babyface character, into that babyface role, and I absolutely love that because people love to hate Logan Paul. So let's get into it. And then Ricochet's girlfriend Samantha had to announce that Logan Paul won. That was just the cherry on the cake for me. Love it. All right, so the next match we're gonna get into is my man Brock Lesnar and then Cody Rhodes. So I thought this match was okay. I know people are loving on this match. It was what it was. I love Brock Lesnar in the ring. Was it over the top fantastic? Not for me. It was what it was. What I really loved was the respect that Brock Lesnar gave to Cody Rhodes after holding his arm up and giving Cody Rhodes his flowers. It's kind of what Kurt Angle did for Brock Lesnar back in 2003. Yeah, I thought that was just so classy for Mr. Brock Lesnar. That match, I liked it. Nothing special to me personally. There were some spots in it where I didn't really know which way it was going to go. So I've already kind of spoken about the Battle Royale. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was necessary. Giving LA Knight a win was absolutely necessary, but this kind of felt like something that was just thrown together to give him a win so Hunter could say, hey, look, I'm listening. Like, I didn't understand what was the reason besides the lifetime supply of Slim Jims. Like, at this point, I don't even know if people are kidding or if that was the prize or if it was just to win a match. I didn't really see the point. It just looked like a cluster F of a bunch of people. I usually like Royal Rumbles and all that stuff, but this was not for me. Did not love it. Love that LA Knight won, and hopefully he gets pushed to the moon because I am an LA Knight stan. Yeah, but did not love this. This is kind of where the pay-per-view kind of takes a downward for me, but we'll get into that. So I believe after that was Shayna versus Ronda Rousey. So all the promos leading up to this, real life issues and adding family and the layers of this, the storytelling was so beautifully done. And I'm a huge Shayna fan. And I heard Ronda Rousey is out the door, which, okay, great. But also that she wanted to put Shayna Baszler, her real life friend, over on the way out of WWE. I hope that's the case, but this MMA match was not the way to do it because apparently from people in the building, people were chanting this is boring. So that's not a way to get her over, especially with people and the excitement behind everything that was going on in the promo packages. This just put a huge kink in the upward trajectory of where Shayna Baszler was going with this rivalry. So that kind of sucks. People are really blasting this match, this MMA match online. I don't know anything about MMA. I watched Ultimate Fighter once in like 2007. I don't even know when it was, a long time ago. I know nothing about MMA, but from what I'm hearing, this was like a backyard MMA match. But I don't know. Sue me. I absolutely hated this. Again, like the Battle Royale, hated the match, loved the winner. There we go. Now I'm going to give you an A+ match. For me, it's Gunther versus Drew McIntyre, which I love both of these men. You knew it was just going to be big, meaty men slapping meat kind of match because that's what these two men are going to give you. I would have loved to see Drew McIntyre win. I never want to cheer against him. That being said, the fact that Gunther is on his way to being the longest reigning IC champ of all time, beating Honky Tonks 154 days. He's on his way. I think it's probably going to happen. That's where we're going with this. I absolutely adored this match. I knew I was going to. Gunther Mr. Walter never lets me down, ever. Either does Drew. But I mean, giving our IC champ those flowers, because he's phenomenal and he deserves to beat the streak, the reign. Let's go. Now going into another match of the night. I think for a lot of people, this is a popular answer of really good match of the night. It was Seth Rollins versus Finn. It was just a solid match. These two know what the F they're doing when it comes to pro wrestling. I really wish they would do more with Finn Balor. I think this rivalry with Seth Rollins, even when they went on to NXT like last month or whatever and they had their little scuffle, I absolutely love this. I want it to continue to go, but I don't know. Finn Balor did end up losing. I really thought Damian Priest was going to cash in. I am shocked that he didn't. That being said, I'm kind of glad he didn't. This was a really good match without all that extra Money in the Bank stuff. Like, let's just let it stand alone. And we can just talk about that and no cash-ins, because it was such a beautiful match. Now, the triple threat women's match. This was Bianca versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair, my queen. I thought this was a pretty solid match. There was a few things. I really didn't like the whole spot where Bianca hit Charlotte Flair when she was in her bridge or whatever. It made me so uncomfortable, but that's just me. As soon as Bianca was taken out with a hurt knee, I kind of knew something was going to happen. I really love Bianca. I really love Asuka. I really love Charlotte Flair. Asuka's reign wasn't really doing anything for me. That being said, any of these women winning, I would have been happy. My favorite moment of the night was Io Sky coming in and cashing in. I think she deserves it. I think Bianca deserves it a little bit more, but that's just me. Let me know who you think should have won from this match, because I just think it could have went either way, really. It was a pretty good match overall. There was a few spots I was like, I don't really know what's happening. I don't know. Anyway, you let me know, because this one I'm kind of back and forth on. And now let's talk about Jay versus Roman, and obviously the big thing that happened. Overall, I thought the match was really good. It was really interesting. Had me pulled all the way in. I had to watch it actually this morning because, I don't know, these things go really late and I have a job that I'm working like 10 days straight. So soon, like, I'm going to bed. It's not a good way to start my day. Fantastic match. I loved a lot of the spots. I just, I love Jey Uso. I think he's so talented. And Roman, at this point, whether you want to acknowledge the tribal chief or not, he puts on some bangers. Let's be real. But Jimith Uso. Yeah, I almost cried. I screamed. I was like, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me? Specifically, why are you doing this? Yeah, it was really upsetting. I see a lot of people online saying this doesn't make any sense. Why would he turn on his brother? I think it has something to do with Roman being a manipulative narcissist. He may have said something to Jimmy, or Jimmy is jealous because Jay gets more acknowledgement. Who knows? Siblings and their relationships are tricky, what does make me really sad about this that I didn't even think about until like pretty recently is if Jimmy turned on Jay, okay, we're gonna get all this stuff, but then we don't even really have the Usos, the tag team, anymore, and they just became one of my favorite tag teams. Why are you doing this to me, Jimmy? Me specifically. Think about me and my feelings. Anyways, so what did you guys think of the pay-per-view, the SummerSlam pay-per-view? There were a lot of great moments, and I will give you my rating out of 10 right now. There were a lot of great moments. That being said, there were a lot of moments, majority of the moments to me, that this did not feel like a big pay-per-view. I would say even, and I spoke to some people about this when it was happening, I felt like I was just watching a Raw or like a SmackDown or something. It didn't feel like a SummerSlam. It didn't feel big. It didn't feel special. And I feel like if you want people to pay the $50 for a pay-per-view, the specialness of it needs to be there, and it just didn't feel like that. The matches that were good were great. There were a few moments that were amazing. I know a lot of people are upset that there wasn't any big returns like Randy Orton or Bray Wyatt, but like, you do that to yourself by reading dirt sheets on Twitter. Not every pay-per-view is going to have a big return. That's just the way it is. So I'm not even going to get into that because I think it's invalid. Overall, that pay-per-view to me was probably a 6.1. I'm gonna give it a 6.1. Gotta put my points in there. So what did you guys think of the pay-per-view? Let me know below. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and see you later.